for paper airplane contest?
I'm wondering why every time there's a loud noise down there that I have to check on y'all. It's always you.
It's not just me. It was a group.
But
of
you're
people.
always involved.
It's a small class. We're just so full of joy, Mr. Johnson.
Why am I so full of joy?
No, we are just so full of joy.
Oh, well, enjoy it.
Thanks.
Enjoy it like you can.
We will try.
You're so welcome. We were told that you left, and I was actually no. I was like, I'm going home. I'm going home. I'm not going to have this.
No, trust. I went home and for evaluation.
That's actually really cool.
Oh,
yeah. Wait, I'm proud of you.
I did last night. And then I was
I like how you labeled it 1, 2, 3, 4. Like we can't
and I
see.
did it, and I was like, and I should say that. And I like recorded it. It's crazy. Yeah. But so we can do that.
Wait, what?
So I hires a
Yeah.
and I realized I was
And then after
it and the quiz
Or you made it the third one.
no way. Yeah, so you just have to do that. I lit.
Yeah. I need
Except for
What? Oh. Gracias. I know you hear it too. Let's say that no, you hear it.
some of them I just don't even know how to do.
Gracias.
The white glasses? Is that
No.
Because that's what I was chuckling about.
And what an active, you don't have you seen the thing where it's like gracias.
I do get Chipotle for
It
dinner.
bugs me, but it's so
So I'm like really, like, I'm actually okay.
I like that one trend on TikTok that's like, como tu te llama? All the people. Have you not heard those?
Ellie, we're on different sides of
Okay, I'm on the better side of TikTok. You're on YouTube Shorts.
Hey, I'm not on YouTube.
What?
I'm on Instagram Reels.
Instagram Reels, that's worse.
Dude, you're worse.
I feel like that is.
Who says that?
I think it's worse.
Okay, go tell Zoe that.
The Instagram Reels is worse than YouTube Shorts.
Hey, Zoe.
Are you Instagram or
Instagram
and those people on
Are
YouTube
you
Shorts
just
are like,
It's so embarrassing when I'm in class and I'm like,
she's so good right now.
No, she said what? Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts?
YouTube Shorts is better than Instagram Reels. It's either, but like,
She said TikTok.
I've never opened the comments of an Instagram reel. I feel like violated reading this. The one time I used Instagram Reels, I saw a keto video. I'm gonna keto vegetarians are all so cool.
Alright, good afternoon guys. There was a new announcement picked up. Please make sure you
You
have
never were
that.
vegetarian. You're making that up.
For a full week, I was like, I feel so bad because last
Oh,
year.
when I was eating Slim Chickens, you were like, don't do that. That's not good. Yes, you did. You were like, I can't look at chicken.
Savior is here.
I can't even
Was
describe to
here.
you what was the video that I watched. The one time I tried to get into Instagram Reel, I put a video. And
Sick.
then it took me to
Devon.
that was just
One's
oh
out.
my god, I can't even describe it. It was so bad. It was just animals being like
Okay, let's get started please. We got several things that we could be working on here.
For a whole week.
Settle down please. Girls. Okay, so today I need to show you something new called L'Hopital's rule, and like I told you guys last class or 2 classes ago, I don't remember since this is a everyday class, the stuff that we have to do to clean up the rest of the semester is a couple things we skipped. L'Hopital's rule is one of those. put in some review for the semester exam. L'Hopital's rule is going to be one of those because it actually helps you with limit questions. And of course, a few questions on your final exam will be limit problems. So this is going to give you a different strategy, a different technique that 9 times out of 10 students prefer. A lot of times y'all prefer this to what we did at the beginning of the year. But I could not show you L'Hopital's rule at the beginning of the year because you didn't know how to take derivatives. So we will definitely have time to get through all of that. And then remember, we still have a mean value theorem quiz at the end of next week. So I will ask you to continue on the circuit, although you probably won't get to that today, but probably Monday. And I've got only 2 Khan Academy assignments, which again, you may not finish today, but you probably should at least start them. But those will be due when you come to class on Tuesday. So we need to, L'Hopital's rule is not a big topic. Well, not big in that it takes a ton of practice. It's really just kind of a one and done type of thing. So make sure yours has your name on it, please. I think I numbered it 55 for you. And so we go back to about the second day of class. We started talking about limits and what a limit was. First day of class, we talked about limits from a graph, and then we started talking about limits from a function, so analytical. And I bug you to death all the time to try to get you to remember that you should always start with direct substitution. That's still going to be true today. You plug in the number, and if you get a real number, you get to be finished. So at least one of your practice questions this afternoon, that will happen. You need to make sure you do that first. But if we do direct substitution and the numerator goes to 0 and the denominator goes to 0, that's what we call the indeterminate form. How did we deal with indeterminate form? Okay, you're being even more specific than I was looking for. But basically, we had to make this look different. The most common way was factoring. Sometimes we multiplied by conjugate. Occasionally you have to plug in a trig identity. Rarely you have to simplify a complex fraction. But basically you have to use your algebra skills to make this look different, get something to cancel, and after something cancels, direct substitution is probably fine. You can still do that. That's still fine. I'm not telling you the things we did the first couple weeks were for nothing. That is a way to work this. But L'Hopital's rule is a different alternative, and it says if you take the limit and you try direct substitution, if you end up with 0 over 0 or plus or minus infinity over plus or minus infinity, then you are in indeterminate form. Now, the first 2 weeks of school, we only talked about 0 over 0. There's actually a handful of indeterminate forms. You'll pick up more the more calculus you do. But for us, these are pretty much the only ones you need to know for ABU. Anytime you get 0 over 0, it could be going to anything, or plus or minus infinity over plus or minus infinity could be going to anything. Just depends on how quickly the numerator is going to infinity and how quickly the denominator is going to infinity. Okay, what L'Hopital's rule says, though, is if it's an indeterminate form, and that's a big if, you have to check that first. You have to do direct substitution. You have to do direct substitution, and you have to get 0 over 0 or plus or minus infinity over plus or minus infinity. The next two are going to be 0 over 0. If that's true, and you don't want to do the other things we talked about at the beginning of the school year, or none of those help, such as this one, there's no way for you to algebraically make this look different. In fact, well, you probably don't remember. It was a long time ago. But first couple weeks of school, do you remember there were some special limits on a worksheet, and I said you don't need to memorize those? Does that sound familiar? Okay, and I said you don't need to memorize these because once you know L'Hopital's rule, you can just figure them out when you need them. So that's what I'm basically about to show you. L'Hopital's rule says if it's an indeterminate form, try the limit, so try direct substitution into the derivative of the numerator over the derivative of the denominator. So take the derivative of your numerator, make it your new numerator, take the derivative of your denominator, make it your new denominator, and then try direct substitution. Now keep in mind, and this worksheet is good at this is why I picked this one, that's not quotient rule. When we do quotient rule, something divided by something, if you want the derivative of the whole thing, you better do the quotient rule practice. L'Hopital's rule is not the quotient rule. You get to just take the derivative of the numerator divided by just the derivative of the denominator. Okay, and then you get to try direct substitution again. And if you are still in indeterminate form, you can try L'Hopital's rule a second, or a third, or a fourth, or a fifth. You can do it as many times as you need to until you end up not getting 0 over 0 or not getting plus or minus infinity over infinity. So, question 2, I can tell you just for time purposes so you guys can get to the practice quicker and have less homework. But when you do direct substitution here, this will give you 0 over 0. So I suspect you could probably factor this denominator with grouping. You could probably get an x minus 2 out of that you could cancel. And once you cancel those, then you could plug it in and get your answer. That should still work. Or you can do L'Hopital's rule, which students tend to really like because you get to just say, let me take the derivative of the numerator. It's my new numerator. Let me take the derivative of the denominator, make it my new denominator, try direct substitution a second time, and as long as you don't end up in indeterminate form, then you have your answer. Again, I could not show this to you at the beginning of the year because you didn't know how to do a derivative, but now that you know what a derivative is and you're more comfortable with them, you can see that is significantly quicker. So, same thing on question 3. Direct substitution, you get 0 over 0. Anytime you have indeterminate form, feel free to try L'Hopital's rule. Derivative of the denominator becomes your new denominator. Derivative of the numerator becomes your new numerator. Make sure you think about chain rule. Chain rule is going to be where most of your mistakes are. And after you do that, you can try direct substitution again. If it's still in indeterminate form, try L'Hopital's rule a second time or a third time. You can just keep breaking that down, and especially if something's a polynomial, eventually it's going to reach a 1 or a 0 or whatever, so it won't be an indeterminate form. So you literally could not have done this question at the beginning of the year without memorizing this special limit, and there's no need because you guys can take this derivative, you can take this derivative, and you can plug in 0. Okay, so now here's the questions I need to ask you to make sure that you absorb this. Before I do L'Hopital's rule, L'Hopital's rule is going to look like this. Before I can do that, what should I check first? Right, it has, if you automatically jump into L'Hopital's rule, you will sometimes think you got the answer and it's not. You have to get indeterminate form before you can do L'Hopital's rule. But then the derivative of the numerator becomes your numerator, derivative of the denominator becomes your denominator. Try again. Now what happens when I do direct substitution this time? What's the sign of 0? What's the sign, or what's 2 times 0?
0.
What's 0 over 0? Still indeterminate form. I still don't know. That's okay because I could do it again. Take the derivative of the denominator a second time, take the derivative of the numerator a second time. Now I get something that's not indeterminate form, so there's the answer. Okay, and then one more of these, and then a word of caution, and then you are good to start practicing and working through these. Okay, so this is the first one where it's x approaches infinity. So ideally, this is an infinite limit. I would love to just do horizontal asymptote rules, but I don't know the degree of this. This polynomials have a degree, this is degree 2, but this is exponential. It doesn't really have a degree. So I can't just do horizontal asymptote rules. But if I do the direct substitution, my numerator goes to infinity, my denominator goes to infinity, and infinity over infinity is indeterminate form. It could be anything. It depends how quickly this goes to infinity versus how quickly that goes to infinity. There are different speeds of infinity, even though Wesley might argue differently.
No, I agree.
Okay. Okay, so what do I do now?
Take the derivative of the top and bottom.
Top, bottom, don't forget the chain rule on the bottom. And now that I've done that, what can I try?
Do the same thing again but on that.
Do what thing again?
Or take the derivative of, or actually you don't,
How do you know this isn't good? How do you know I'm not done?
because you still have,
You still get infinity over.
Right. The numerator's still going to infinity, the denominator's still going to infinity. So, I'll be honest, there are problems that L'Hopital's rule cannot do for you. Some stuff doesn't break down. You're about to see that in a second. But we could try again and go 4 and 4e to the 2x. Now, technically, this is not indeterminate form anymore. There's no indeterminate forms that have a 4 in the numerator, so I know I'm almost finished now. I know I'm not going to have to do L'Hopital's rule again. But if I plug infinity into here, a number that goes to infinity times 2 still goes to infinity. If you take the number e and you make the exponent go to infinity, that goes to infinity. And if you take infinity times 4, that goes to infinity. And then finally, again, this is not indeterminate form. Only plus or minus infinity over plus or minus infinity, or 0 over 0. 4 over infinity is not the case. In a fraction, if your numerator is stuck at 4 but your denominator keeps getting bigger, then your fraction gets closer to 0. Now, once again, I'm not saying L'Hopital's rule is necessarily the easiest 100% of the time. Honestly, if this was a calculator question, I might just graph this in my calculator and look at the far right of the graph to see what y value it approaches. You could do it graphically if you had a calculator, but without a calculator, you've got to do something like this. Now, before I give you the one word of caution, that one didn't really do what I was hoping it to do. Let me try to just make up something real quick. If I did like this, you don't have to copy this down. But if this was the question, you would get infinity over infinity. So you are welcome to use L'Hopital's rule if you want to. But look what happens when I try to do L'Hopital's rule on this made-up question. I get a 2e to the 2x over a 3e to the 3x. How is this any closer to being out of indeterminate form than that? Does that make sense? Like, I can just keep taking these derivatives, but e to the 2x is always going to be in the derivative of e to the 2x. All that I'm going to change is this number out here. The derivative of e to the 3x is e to the 3x times chain rule. So it's always going to be there. Therefore, these don't break down, so L'Hopital's rule would always give you infinity over infinity, and you'd have to think of something else. So, anyway, that shouldn't really be a problem today. Okay, the last word of caution, like I said just a second ago, be careful, and even on the next page it throws in a couple of these to make sure it's keeping you honest here. But L'Hopital's rule is not quotient rule. Quotient rule is when, well, let's not say x. You take the derivative of something divided by something, and it followed this pattern. L'Hopital's rule is not doing the quotient rule. It lets you take the derivative of the numerator, make it your numerator, and take the derivative of your denominator and make it your denominator. Don't start doing that for all questions like this. This is not a limit question. It has nothing to do with L'Hopital. Also, by the way, I know this doesn't look like the word L'Hopital. It looks like hospital or whatever, but it's Latin or, I don't know, its ethnicity.
I think that's spelled wrong, but I don't think the S is supposed to be there.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so if you want the derivative and not a limit, make sure you're doing the quotient rule that you've been doing all year. Derivative of the top times the bottom left alone minus the derivative of the bottom times the top left alone, all over denominator squared. Okay, that was a little excessive. So be careful about the question. If the question tells you to take a derivative, you have to do the quotient rule. If you're doing a limit and you're wanting to apply L'Hopital's rule, you are not doing the quotient rule. You get to just do the numerator and denominator derivative separately and make them new numerators and denominators. It's important that you keep those two things separate and you don't start messing up the other one. So you can see that once you kind of know the process, and especially if it's an easy derivative, these questions can be pretty quick. So the next page has a table, if you will, of several questions. A couple of these are derivatives only, so they're asking you to do quotient rule like this was warning you about. At least one of these will not need L'Hopital's rule at all because it's not an indeterminate form. You should get the answer from direct substitution only. And then I think all the rest of these on this page you should be able to do with L'Hopital's rule. So we definitely need to get all the way through this today and hopefully give you a little bit of time to also work on the Khan Academies if possible. So go ahead and start. Please do the questions in order, and I will share the answers occasionally so that we can deal with the problems you're having fast. Actually, to speed it up just a tiny bit, I do have the solutions on the website, so of course I'd like you guys to utilize that, but for the first few, I will jot the answers on the board so that way you can just quickly glance and make sure that your work's coming out correctly. So there's the first 5. And I guess I'm wrong about our time here. We still have 25 minutes, but 25 minutes is probably going to get you very, very, very close to being finished with this. Maybe finished with it. But I don't think you'll get to start on the Khan Academies till Monday, which is fine, too. It looks like -1/2, but I just copied it off of them, so I may have glanced at it wrong. No, it's -1/2. Yep. You guys are getting this one wrong. You're getting 1/3. -1/3.
How? Yes, you're having a skill issue, actually.
No, I know what their mistake is.
Just do the What is it?
They're forgetting to start with direct substitution, and they're jumping into L'Hopital's rule right away.
It's a hard world out there.
Did you hear that? Why would that be? Because Wolfshaw's rule only works if it starts with something new. Why that's the case, I can tell you. But you didn't try direct substitution to start. Direct substitution is the only thing you had to do was question. That's why I keep saying, don't do Wolfshaw's rule just immediately, because sometimes you're not gonna even know that it's wrong when you're not supposed to. Always do direct substitution first, and then if it's indeterminate or think about it. You don't have a calculator, so there you can borrow.
I have a calculator. I shut it open.
I think Xavier's doing okay.
You wanna ask him and make sure he's okay?
You look a lot shorter today.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, that's you know what I said to his dude? I said, you don't look very bright today. And I didn't think about it.
You look dumb.
Second sorry for that.
Really stupid.
Yeah, that's that would
No,
make
she
that was like
she
I
wore
think I-
all pink, like, red shit, like the size before. So I was talking about that.
Yeah.
So, but I said, you don't look very bright today. What was her outfit?
I would go
You look
home.
stupid, Lucy, actually.
Oh, well, it was really funny. Her response was, yeah, I have a migraine.
Sure.
That was like,
That
what are
was
you
it.
talking about? I mean, that's, you're still wearing your white boys, so. My weather.
Well, cause like, you know, the person on the weather stand, they're
He's
like, oh,
hating, but I like him.
Hey, no, well, he hates on my shoes, I get to hate back, I mean, that's fair.
I hate on your shoes if you're shorter.
Okay, well, that's just like,
Do you wanna see something funny? But
Your
you
what?
can't get no, but you can't get back. It'll take like 1 second. I want you to listen, Miriam's no, this is for a college application, that you have to make a list of the topics on the
oh, it's my dog.
You have a dog? Can we see a picture?
Do you know what
I had to put my dog down.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Tozer. Motor? That's so cute.
That's what we were talking about.
Oh, Lucy.
He was, mostly pit bull, but he was.
what I'm doing.
Oh, kind of. Okay.
Last Wednesday, my wife and friend.
I can't read that at all. Ooh. Okay.
Wait, she looks like she's like, boy, Ellie.
It's so cool. It's just like a tiger. I'll show you a picture. Okay?
Aw, he's so cute.
Oh, I know what you're doing. Okay. You know when they say that dogs are like their brothers? Like you guys. Mine was load earlier, right?
No, watch.
Oh, his eyes are orange.
Keep watching.
pretty. Aww.
Now he's a.
Does it
Oh,
look
and I'm
like
just
a
I'm so sorry.
Did you block Wordle?
Huh?
Did you block Wordle?
Did I block it?
Wait, I'm
Are you done?
Well, it's
How
not
do
for
you-
me.
Who's it for?
Somebody over there.
You think
I have the power to block websites.
It showed me. Wait, look. It said, because I had Wordle
Oh, so
pulled
it's
up
you.
when I had Wordle pulled up when I opened my computer, and it was blocked, and I was like, that's odd.
No, I'm trying to figure out how.
Wait, and then it says blocked by GoGuard. Wait, watch. Give a second. And it says site.
Sweet.
You go show more, and it goes. It says blocked by GoGuard.
I only block stuff during our class.
You can do that.
I knew how to. I know I blocked New York Times.
Oh, so then you blocked Wordle.
No, I blocked New York Times.
He blocked it. Did you block Google Docs?
Google Docs.
Yes.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think you did. I had my Christmas list pulled up in another tab. You blocked that one too.
Well, it'll be unblocked.
What?
It'll be unblocked by the end of class. I tried to schedule it.
Can you skip into number five?
Yeah,
I don't know what I'm
it's
doing, so I was messing with it. So. It looks like it works though.
Yeah, okay, two. Also, my sister.
Also, why do you need a Christmas list?
so that when people ask me what I want, I say like this.
He's like Beyonce.
You have to be good all year.
Oh, I'm very good actually.
Well, I didn't think so because the trade roll was obviously moved to one.
Hey, I just got a 1450 on my PSDP.
Huh?
I just got a 1450 on my PSDP. I would say that that's good enough to get Christmas.
Because I did chain roll and I was about 2 by 2.
No, Christmas present.
I just don't think you I know, I don't.
That's probably where
I got
they
you.
get it.
I feel
That was more than, they said they'd pay for my gas, but if I got national merit, but,
Forever?
no, until I go to college.
2 expert
Oh, that's
and
silly.
2.
Yeah, and they're like, if you get national merit, but I got
National
a
Merit or National Merit semifinals?
national merit semifinal.
And it would be 4
I got
more
a 215, and they're like, we don't know yet, so we're not
Because
gonna
if you
figure
started,
it
you get
out.
2 squared
Yeah,
minus
you
2.
wouldn't know
I
until-
know, next September, and I feel ripped off.
It was just, the answers for this worksheet.
They're blocked?
Mine was.
He blocked everything.
Wait, yeah, my,
did not.
my Google Docs were blocked.
Yeah, no, he blocked Google Docs, he blocked
I have
New
an
York
application
Times.
due, I have to get on Google
No.
Docs.
My,
We can't do it.
my math page for Townsend.
Not right
Why
now.
would it be in Google Docs
Oh,
right
wait, Mr. Townsend, did you block your own math page?
Once in
I hope not.
now? I
Is
think
it
mine just broke
blocked?
for a second, mine stinks.
Oh, never mind. He blocked everything.
I did not. I blocked like 3 things.
It was half my tab.
What did you say? What?
He just blocked me.
No, I said, y'all
He
think I
blocked New
can
York
block
Times.
these? There was a
He
question.
blocked
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
so
we
I
do,
do,
we
yes.
do.
Okay.
Wait, why who you
Yeah, I blocked 4 or 5 things.
4 or 5.
I thought it was 3 or 4.
It goes up every
Well,
time.
it's 6 or 7 next time.
Wait, how did you get to the expert? Where? 4x over 2. Wait, that actually made me so sad. Oh, because that's 1 over x squared. I was chain roll.
All this stuff, I don't understand.
Anybody figure out this puzzle over here?
Yeah, Abby did.
How? Wait, what?
You moved this, the third one on the 4 over between 1 and 2.
I got the match one.
Wait,
Wait, what?
on the.
So smart.
Oh, that's so smart.
Abby, have you seen that on like a YouTube video or something?
Oh, I got
Yeah,
Wait,
that's
what?
good.
Just-
I swear I've seen this puzzle like 10 times, but I never actually watched it.
Just make the.
The bad is
I'm serious.
Right there in front of you.
I don't care about.
You don't need New York Times. You have Moon.
It says 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Lucy, Lucy, look, one of my friends just watches the recording. Oh my god! Oh my god! Wait.
No, I'm I was thinking it as like a little thing, and I was like,
You're a pig. You know, Fred, they're supposed to be nice.
Crazy, you just asked me if I was stupid.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought girls were girls, but whatever.
Or I lost 10,000.
Bless you.